Greetings and welcome to Matrix Revealed presentation 23. I'm still struggling with this awful virus, but I'm not going to let that deter me. Can't even say it right. But what I find is amazing, this spiritual awakening, is the journey of our life and how things that I've been previously interested in are now coming into their own. Family history or genealogy being one. And also music. I do like all types of music, and I have perplexed a lot of people how I can go from, for example, thrash metal or what is known as space rock, Hawkwind, and then the next minute I can play a symphony or a choral piece, and then maybe go on to a piece of jazz with no trouble at all. What I don't like is when music is cut by wretched YouTube adverts right in the middle, but I refuse to pay for something like that, especially when I know that the electricity is free. Excuse me one moment. So, music, very interesting use of words. Now, it is known, we're going to have to run with the official narrative here, that ancient Egypt and many other ancient civilizations had music, but they tell us that they never wrote anything down, and it wasn't until the Greeks came along that we actually had a written form of music. Now, what is interesting is you have 12 notes, and notice also, particularly on a piano, you have the black and white keys. Keys, again, very interesting word. You've got the 7 alphabetic letters A to G, and it always starts on the great stave between the two 5-line bars between the treble and the bass is called the middle C. I think that's very interesting and quite revealing in itself. Then when you think more about music, you have flats and sharps. There's going to be other meanings to this for certain. You have scales. Is that not what we shed? Scaly skin, for example. And then, of course, within cathedrals and things, you have organs and windpipes, just like the human body. And music, of course, goes beyond anything that can be expressed in words. Now, I'm pretty certain, forgive me if I'm wrong, but I haven't actually checked this. I don't know if it was John Levi who featured this or Martin Liedtke, or if it hasn't been featured as a standalone presentation, perhaps, well, this I'm asking one of you with far better skills than I can do to put together a photographic presentation on the old city of Dresden. Now, this is very interesting as well because it's used in several pieces of music. It is a thing called the Dresden Amen. Amen being Amun, from the Egyptian. Now, I pulled up Wikipedia for this. The Dresden Amen is a sequence of 6 notes sung by choirs during church services in the German state of Saxony since the beginning of the 19th century. It's very interesting, the dates of all these things. The Dresden Amen was composed by Johann Gottlieb Neumann, 1744 to 1801. And Felix Mendelssohn used the Dresden Amen in his 5th Symphony, the Reformation. I mean, there seems to be a big clue, the Reformation. And it was also used, probably more famously in a way, by the composer Richard Wagner in his last music drama. They've got it down as opera here, but it's a music drama called Parsifal. Anton Bruckner again features in this. He used the Dresden Amen in several motets, the Christus Factus Est, the Virga Jesi and the Vexilla Regis, and the finale of his Fifth Symphony. So just to give you an idea what we're actually listening to, I mean this would go brilliant with the images of the old Tatarian Dresden. This is Mendelssohn in the Fifth Symphony. And now Wagner in Parsifal. So that gives you an idea of that 6-note theme, and I can't help but wonder if this Dresden Amen is another one of these in-your-face mocking things with the destruction of Dresden towards the end of what is known as the Second World War. But as I have suggested, it is one continuous world war, and they are the equivalent of the evening performances or the blockbusters, because they are quite that. They are destroying the ancient and the beautiful structures that mud floods and things do not seem to have managed to destroy, because they are so well built. But they always give us a fake narrative on all of these things, and you'll find it is a repeat pattern. It doesn't matter where you go or which continent you go to, you will find the same so-called Greco-Roman style buildings built in time scales that seem absolutely ridiculous. Sorry about that. Got a bit of a runny nose still, and it's the same with these world fairs and expositions. I mean, how do these stone structures and the iron and the glass, I'm thinking straight away of Crystal Palace in South London, these massive structures, how does fire manage to burn at such an intense heat and destroy all these old buildings? Same with all the electric parks featured on Conspiracy R Us channel. Plain Truth for You channel has also done this, and of course Martin Liedtke, John Levi, and many more. And it's the same, not only the same style structures that are instantly recognisable, but if you didn't know the location, they could be anywhere in the world. It's always the associated domes, the Antiquitech, the Technasmia with the which now have clocks placed in them, so everybody is looking up and being governed by time, whereas at one time it would have been free energy and a healing energy coming out of these things. It is said that even today the Berlin Zoo, which would make another fascinating standalone video, the feeling there is supposed to be so magical and so wonderful. The animals are supposed to be so happy there. I can't personally verify this. I'm just going on from what I've listened to on other channels. But there does seem to be something in this. There is definitely set grid systems with all these things, same as all the star forts and everything else. And are we expected to believe that in all these old structures that look old at the time when we're told that they were built, seem to anticipate 21st century traffic congestion? The whole thing is ludicrous. But the other thing that I find fascinating with a lot of these photographic images, particularly around the turn of the century, you've got the people in rags, almost uniform in what they're wearing, right down to the compulsory hats. Most of them looking like they're in some sort of daze. And then you compare that to the stark contrast in these magnificent buildings, and you look at these people and you look at those buildings and you think no way could they have built them, and then you see the flimsy horse and carts, wooden carts, and you think there's no way they would be able to transport those stone blocks on not even roads, just compressed mud. And then there are the electric streetcars, the trams. They do seem to have the third rail shoe pickup between the two running rails, bit like with the London trams where they didn't want the unsightly overhead wires, and sure enough you never see, or very rarely see, overhead wires with those old trams. But just look at them, they look so futuristic, in total contrast to the buildings and the people. So I'll leave that one there, and there will be another video soon, and I wish you all peace and love, and Tatar for now.